Hello, everyone. Hello, good morning. Good afternoon, I guess I should say. My name is Blakely. I am one of the co-creators of Pre-Pro. We've got a really exciting stream for you today. Today, we are going to focus on adding images, maybe adding some video to a project, as well as what it's like to take a project from a fellow creative team member, bring it into Pre-Pro, open it, and continue working where they stopped. So we're going to kind of combine all of those things today. We're going to take our project that Parker worked on with you last week, sort of a holiday themed project, since this may be our last stream until we see each other in the New Year's. We'll keep you posted on that. But right now for today, we're going to take animation and scenic elements that Parker already worked with last week. We're going to work on it ourselves and add images and video, maybe some new animation towards the end of the performance file there. We'll add some fun stuff. So we're going to go ahead and take this performance to the next level today. A bit more advanced techniques within Pre-Pro, but that's all right if you've been following along for the past few weeks. You are surely an expert by now. Now, I should let you know that we are going to be using the unlocked version of Pre-Pro today. And in order to use this particular version of Pre-Pro, you're going to need to unlock the free trial in Pre-Pro. So I'm going to go ahead here and switch over to our iPad screen here. You can see we're in the home screen of Pre-Pro. I'm going to use my mouse today as well as my finger and pencil, but mostly I'll use the mouse on my iPad just so you can see what I'm interacting with. But you'll see right here above me is a QR code. So if you didn't happen to get that QR code in time in the countdown screen, go ahead and scan that with your iPad now. It should take you straight to our App Store page where you can download Pre-Pro for free. And once you have downloaded that, in order to unlock all of the features in Pre-Pro, which you're going to need to do in order to continue working with me today in our live stream, the in-app purchases come with a 14-day free trial. And in order to access that, you're going to have to go ahead and create a project folder. If you've already done that before, you may have existing project folders, but go ahead and create a project folder and give it a name. And once you've done that, I'll go ahead and make this our test in-app purchase. Now that we've done that, I'm going to make a performance file. So when you're working with performance files, if you're someone working in theater, film, dance, something with linear storytelling, you'll want to think of these individual performance files in this folder as individual scenes or individual musical numbers in your piece. Otherwise, if you're working on corporate events, weddings, things like that, you can think of these different files as different rooms, maybe different setups for different ballrooms, depending on if you have a speaker, if you have a musical artist, a variety artist, things like that. That's how you want to think of those. But for right now, I'm going to click Create Performance. And just for the sake of showing you how to reach the in-app purchase for the free trial, I'm just going to go ahead and choose our black box model. Select it. I'm going to give it a name and just write testing the free trial. And I'm going to click OK. And you'll see here that it's going to open up really quickly into the 2D view of our 3D space. I'll tap 3D. You can see there it is, 3D in the round, but we'll focus on more of that later. Right now we want to find the in-app purchase screen. So we're going to come down here to our settings button in the Pre-Pro palette here at the bottom. You're going to tap that, and you'll see this little storefront that says in-app purchase, or IAP for short. Tap on that. And you'll be presented with two options. And this is the one we're going to recommend that you get as Pre-Pro 3D, since it will unlock the 3D view for you. If you don't need 3D, then you can certainly choose the 2D only, which will give you all of the animation, unlimited performers, unlimited assets, things like that. You just won't get access to the 3D view. So if you don't have the need for it, You can choose the 2D package, but we think the 3D view is what makes Pre-Pro extra magical. So when you go ahead here, you're going to click Purchase, and what it'll do is it'll give you the 14-day free trial first before activating your yearly subscription. And that's what you're going to do to go ahead and unlock that. If you've already started this trial or purchased a subscription on a particular device, whether it's an iPad or a Mac or vice versa, whichever one you're working with today, you can always click Restore Purchase, and that will activate your subscription on the alternate device or an additional device that you have on your Apple account. So we're going to go ahead and click this Home button here to go back, since we want to dive into the project that Parker gave us earlier today. So I already brought this folder from Parker in previously. It's this Christmas special project. Parker merely exported that from his end. I have a pre-pro file, and when I go into my project library right here, I will click this import button, and it lets me select the file from my list of files on my iPad or Dropbox, Google Drive, iCloud, any of those services. That'll bring up the selection window for me to select the pre-pro file that I'm looking for. And all of these are .prepro files, so you'll know exactly what to look for when you are importing a project from a fellow creative. So I already went ahead and imported it here. This is Christmas Special. And you can see there's a couple performances in here, but I already know that the one that Parker left off on was Christmas Concert number 2. So I'm going to go ahead and open this. We'll take a look at what Parker did. We'll look around it some, and then we'll move on to duplicating it and adding our own spin to it so that this particular performance can stay safe and sound while we go and mess with the next one. But let's go ahead and dive into Christmas Concert number 2. And it's also okay if you don't have this particular performance on your iPad. More think of it as making your own while we work together today and figuring out how to add images, add videos to existing performers and how Pre-Pro handle those images and videos. And you'll see it's loading it up here. Quite a big model here, so you'll notice just with any computer program, the more things you put into it, the more time it'll take to load, get all of those things accurately placed for you. But once it's open, it's all happening in real time right at the touch of a finger or a mouse or a pencil. So you can see here that it opened up and I am on this 2D view of the stage that Parker created for me in this particular venue, which I believe is a proscenium venue. You can see here if I zoom in with pinch to zoom and one finger to move around in the 2D space. You can see Parker's got some performers here that he left for us last time. You can see he's got some images applied to these, which I'm sure will look awesome in 3D. There you go. And we've got this really cool rotating scenic asset here that I believe Keith, one of our other co-creators, made. It looks really awesome in 3D, but it gives us that turntable idea with having different sets there, different views as it rotates. And I'm going to zoom out here. I'll also open the timeline since Parker, I believe, yes, he added a music track here to the top. And he has got, drag this up, a lot of different animations happening here with all of these performers, which is pretty awesome. We also have the rotation, I'm assuming, for our custom scenic unit here in the middle. Yes, the Nutcracker unit has a rotation here at the very top of the performance. Great. I'm going to close that. I'm going to click in the palette over here. I'm going to click the 3D icon. Let's not forget that our settings icon down here can have a press and long hold to display which tool is which. So that way, if you're a new user and you don't know what icon is which, you can press and hold here on this settings help icon at the bottom of your palette on the left-hand side, and it will tell you what those buttons are. When you release, it will disappear. But for now, we're going to click this 3D button right here, and that is the magic of Pre-Pro instantly right there in the palm of your hand. We've got this incredible looking holiday set, And you can see this turntable unit here in the middle. Looks pretty awesome. I'll come in here. I'll move this down here. But for now, let's just see what Parker created so we kind of have an idea of what we are working with. As I play this, I hope that you will be able to hear the audio from the iPad. Right. So, I hope you could hear that. I believe you could. I'm going to bring this audio down just slightly. It seemed a little hot there on my end. That's okay, because we're going to watch this again. Great. So, I've turned that down. Now, you can see here on the iPad, we have the option to either rewind here, which we can do. Everything will run backwards. We can either drag our playhead back, or we can tap up here at the top to get our playhead to jump back. But what's really cool about Pre-Pro is we have the ability for you to add bookmarks to the timeline. So you'll see already there's some of these bookmarks that are here on the timeline, and those act as quick jumps. Think of chapter selection in a DVD or a Blu-ray, something like that. And what it allows you to do is add a bookmark at the place of the playhead. And you can do that by tapping bookmark. And when you click that plus, it's going to add a bookmark to wherever the position of the playhead is in your timeline. So Parker already added one at the opening. So let's say I was already here at the end. I could simply tap opening, and it brought me all the way back to 0. So now, if you have certain spots where you want to jump to, where you know you have a big build coming or a big formation change, as you're reviewing this number, you just need to hit particular bullet points, you can do that as well. Great. So what we're going to do now is we are going to watch this one more time. I'm going to go ahead and give us the full 3D view by tapping the 3D button twice. So you can tap it once, it'll give you the split view. You can double tap it, and it will give you the full 3D view. If you just tap it again once, it will give you the single 2D view. So we'll press play. Definitely see we have a holiday theme today. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Great. So I'm going to go ahead and jump back. Tap opening. It'll take me to the back there. Back to the beginning. And let's tap this once just to see here what we have. Looks good. Great. So now we have this all ready to go. So instead of working on this particular performance file that Parker made, I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this. So what's really nice about this is if you want to leave your fellow creative team members' work alone, you could build right onto this particular performance file. But in order to save it, in case I end up doing things that I don't like or it just goes the wrong direction, we have a really easy way to duplicate a performance file so that you can sort of make adjustments as you would like without having to alter or mess with your fellow creatives' performance file. So we're going to go ahead and click this home button here in the palette to go back. And you'll see here Christmas Concert 2 is the one that we were just inside. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to double tap to get more options. So I'm going to double tap on this performance file. Just like that. And you'll see here there's a pencil that lets me edit the name of this particular performance file. There's the trash can that will let me delete this performance file, and this little duplication icon. So when I tap this right now, instantly I have a second version of this particular performance. I'm going to rename it just by double tapping the edit icon, tapping in the text field, and now I'm going to call it Christmas Concert Best and press return or done if you're using your finger and you don't have a keyboard or mouse attached. And I'm going to go ahead and open this just to make sure that everything seemingly works as it should. You can see Pre-Pro's getting all of it loaded. Now I made a duplicate of this, so it's going to have a duplicate version of this rotation model, the venue that Parker created for us, all of the traffic patterns that Parker animated, our music track. It should be an exact 100% duplication of that particular performance. So once it go ahead and open this here, you can see now that we have the exact same file we were looking at before, this incredible 3D Christmas holiday model. And if I open the timeline, yep, I'll drag this up just so we can see that everything is still the same, including our bookmarks. Just like that, now we have our own version that we can start to work on, mess with, things like that, which is pretty awesome. So you've seen that Parker created a lot of cool traffic patterns of these performers weaving in and out of each other in circles around the front half of the stage while our model rotates, which is pretty cool. But today we're going to take this to the next level, since as you can see when I play this, it's just mannequins. And in Pre-Pro, we have the ability to add images and videos to these particular performers. So let's say you've got a very specific costume rendering from the costume designer, and you want to see what that looks like moving around the stage. You can certainly move that sort of image. If you have a picture of the performer themselves, you can attach that to the particular mannequin that you're wanting, and you can watch that particular actor move around the stage. And even better, you can take it totally to the next level by using video. That's right, Pre-Pro can take videos that you make anywhere. You can pull them from online, you can pull them from your phone, and once you've taken them, it will automatically remove the background with our backdrop technology. And once it does that, it will then apply that video to the mannequin. So you can instantly see the steps you have created moving to the precise traffic patterns that you have already previously drawn. So you can get the best idea of what your choreography and musical staging will look like by seeing not only the dance steps in a live video format that you've added to the project file, but also all of the traffic patterns and scenic elements moving as well with it. It's a full production virtually here in the palm of your hands in your iPad or Mac. So we have some images, well, at least I already got some images that I want to apply to these performers today, just some fun images I found online that I need to add to this particular project. So I'm going to leave this performance file now and come back out to the main folder. And now you can see here on this folder, at the top of every folder, I will have this set of icons here, all different media types. I can add venue models, scenic asset models, videos, images, PDFs for scripts, audio, and flooring images for ground plans, or perhaps flooring textures if you want a wood floor, brick floor, depends on how intense you're making this particular performance file. But for right now, I know I have images that I want to add, so I'm going to click Images, and I'm presented with three options: import from device, import from the universal library within Pre-Pro, which is all of the other files I've ever added, I still have access to in other performances. So if I have a house model that I put in as a scenic asset in one project, I can still use it in another project folder once it's been put into Pre-Pro. I can also go into my camera roll. So if you're using an iOS device, anything that you have stored there in your Photos app is your camera roll, and you can pull from there as well if it's not an actual file in your files or in a cloud service like Dropbox, Google Drive, things like that. The files I have are actually in iCloud, so when I click Import from Device, you'll see that it's going to bring up a file selection window, just like you're used to seeing on your iPad or your Mac. And I already am in a folder that I've designated for this particular project. And you can see I've got some PNGs. So you can do JPEG and PNG images here in Pre-Pro. So you'll want to make sure that they're formatted correctly before you select them. If they aren't the right format, you won't be able to select them, and then you'll know that you need to go use a third-party service to convert those into a format that's recognizable for Pre-Pro. I'm going to start with this elf right here. And you'll see Pre-Pro brings it in, and right there now I have my elf. Now I could have renamed this image here in Files. I could have renamed it elf or something like that, and it will import itself with the file name. But I didn't change the file name for today. But just know that if you want things to have specific names, pieces of media to have specific titles next to them, so that you can identify them more easily, you'll want to do that outside of Pre-Pro. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in the next image that I have, which is of a world-famous Radio City Rockette. And I'm going to bring in another elf that I have here. A female presenting elf. Yes, this looks awesome. So let's go back now that those are in this particular project. Let's go into Christmas Special Best again. And now those images will be usable in this performance. And I'm going to show you how you take those images and apply them to your perfect paths, to your path animation. And just the fact that you're probably watching this on a Mac right now or some other computer, maybe you're working on this and watching it at the same time on an iPad, it would be challenging, but not impossible. But just to have this level of clarity, this level of power in the palm of your hands is it's extraordinary. To be able to see things, sight lines, potential scenic shifts, dry teching scenic moves before you're at the venue. None of this has ever been able to be done from the comfort of your couch, on a plane, at the airport waiting to get on the plane, on a train. Since it doesn't require an internet connection, Pre-Pro has the ability to do everything you need to get done and more without the internet. No internet required. It's all happening on device. And we have worked very hard to ensure that Pre-Pro has the ability to work and run on a wide variety of iPads. So you don't need to have the best, newest, most professional hardware to run Pre-Pro and to get incredible results. So now that I have this open, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to add images. So we're going to open up our timeline here. I'm going to open this up just like that a little bit. And you will see here this little folder with the play button on it. That is our media folder. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. Just like that. There we go. And I am going to click this arrow here that shows images. And when you look, you'll see that now I have images in here. I have a double here of this one image. So I'm going to remove that. And just like that, I tap the trash can and it's gone. So there you have it. We have performers. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 performers total. Fantastic. So I am now going to look at my paths here, and what I do is, in order to apply an image to the mannequin, I'm just going to take the image file that I'm interested in and drag it onto the path. That's literally all I'm going to do, but first I'm going to play a little bit of it so I can get them on stage. Perfect. So now I can see these performers here, and I think I'm going to start with my elf image here. And what I do is when I click and drag and drop it on top of the path, you'll notice now there is an image applied to it. Yeah? So I'm going to use this same image here. I'm going to try to make them even. So now I did my red and orange with the same image. Now I'm going to go, looks like yellow and light green. Actually, that was probably incorrect. It was actually this green. So don't worry, I'll be able to double tap on this image file here. If you just double tap on the gray area, you can flip the image or you can delete it. And I'll just go ahead and remove that since that was an incorrect move on my part. And you'll see here, I now have a rocket. And I'm just going to, honestly, I'm going to add this rocket to these last 4 performers. Because why not? There we go. And now I'm going to go ahead and, instead of clicking my bookmark, I can either just drag this back like that, or I can just tap. And you'll see instantly, for a second there, it changed. You might have seen it for a second, but it works just like that. It instantly replaced those mannequins with an image. Also, when you import your images as a PNG or a JPEG, you'll want to make sure that if you're expecting it to be perfectly cut out, you'll want to make sure that that image is, has the background removed from it prior to bringing it into Pre-Pro. If it doesn't have the image background removed, it'll just display white or black or whatever the background of that image is. So now we're going to play it again. I'm going to zoom in here just so we can sort of get a better view. And let's go. And just like that, you saw for a second there, we got a glimpse of what those images look like moving in, moving past each other, and things like that. So I thought that looked okay. I thought it looked okay. What I'll want to do now, though, is let's add a video. Right? So the last half of this animation, that was fun having the image there. And certainly you could take those same images and then continue to add them to the path. So for example, I would just use image 5645 again onto the rest of these particular path nodes. Since the when you apply the image to a path node, it will automatically make itself as long as the node itself. So you don't have to drag to make it longer. It will automatically make itself the length of the node that it's been applied to, which keeps it really easy for you. Now for videos, let's go ahead and bring it in. So let's go back here. I don't believe I've imported it yet, but if you had imported it, you could click this little plus icon here, and it would let you bring it in from a project. But since we haven't imported it, we're going to go back and go to videos. And you can have the same 3 options here, but mine is already there in that file in the cloud. So I'm going to go ahead and tap this here, and you'll see I have this little video here. I'm going to tap that. Now you'll notice this video is already on a green screen, but what's cool about Pre-Pro is you don't need a green screen when you film this video of yourself. If you're using your own dance steps, if you're using a video that isn't on a green screen, Pre-Pro has the ability to intelligently remove the background for you. So this video just happens to be a green screen background, but you most certainly do not need to have a video that has a green screen background in order for this to work. So there you go. You can see right now the video is done. It's been ready to use by Pre-Pro. And you'll see it is a Santa Claus. Yes, indeed. So that video is there for us to use. Let's go back into our Christmas concert best performance there. And while that opens, we always recommend when you're taping things, if you're trying to put in footage of yourself when you're dancing, if you have particular dance steps, we're always going to recommend that you film in landscape. Yep, you're going to want to film in landscape. That is the best way. And as with most video, having more light is always better. It's going to help pull you away from the background easier, the better the camera can see what's in front of it. Low light is never video's friend, and so you want to make sure that you're doing this in a well-lit environment when you're taping yourself. But it could be in your living room. It could be in front of a wall at the airport. You could have only enough money to pay for an hour in a dance studio, so you can go ahead and get the steps out then and work on the traffic patterns later once you get home. Really, anything will work. And you can also, if you're not actually selling any of these projects, if you just need a vague idea, if you find a video on YouTube, if you find a video on social media, you can certainly use that as well as a placeholder until you come up with your own steps. But some of this may be super preliminary ideas, and you get a movement style or idea that you see on YouTube or a website that you think, I want it to be something like this. I haven't come up with my own version, but for yourself or a potential stakeholder, using that as a placeholder, you can then tell them, hey, we're going to create some type of movement, but you can expect it to be similar to or in the style of this. And then you can create that later. So now we're back in our project and the performance file of our Christmas special. You can see here when we open it up, we've still got all these images attached to our players. And now when I come here to my media folder and I drop down the videos, you'll see I've got these videos ready to go. I had a double there, so I'm going to just delete that one, since I have worked a little bit on this previously. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this video the same way I did with the photos, and you'll see here on the red performer that now the video has applied itself, but with videos, the video will extend the length of the video. So when you drop a video onto a particular performance path, a perfect path of a performer, if it's a 4-minute video, the video will apply as 4 minutes, and then you can animate around that. So now, basically what's going to happen is the video will play out, and if there's no animation, as you can see here in this gap, that means the video will still play, but the performer will remain stationary while performing whatever it is in the video that you've performed. So that's how you'll create stationary dance sequences and then animation sequences around that. So know that when there's no animation, that video is going to continue to play, but it'll play stationary until it hits the next animation path there in the timeline, and then it'll animate that path however you drew it, and then in the next gap or wherever it will remain still. So as we watch that together, just know that when you see it standing still, it's because there's no path underneath it, but our little Santa friend should continue to dance. Honestly, I'm going to change them all to Santas for this last half, so I'm just going to continue to drag and drop this on all of the remaining performers here today. And now what's really interesting too about some of these videos is, let's say you're working on a tap dance and you only want to tap once, you can tap in the video and you can mute and unmute the video you're applying to those paths. So you can still have your score track, right, your main instrumental track here up top, and then in the different videos you apply, you can have different sound in those videos. So in the case of tap dancing, if you want to create a round, you can create 2 videos, one of you doing one part of the round, the other section doing the other part of the round. So you can start to really get these intricate ideas with and without sound within your project. So it doesn't just have to be music at the top. And so I'm going to drag this here onto this path. And I believe that is all of them. Great. And now, when we go back to watch this, we should have, I'm going to close out the palette by clicking this P. Just opens and closes it, gets it out of the way for you there. And let's see if we've got little dancing Santas after we have our images coming in. So it should be images for this first move in. We should see our elves and our Rockettes. And then as they start to move again, we should start to see our dancing Santa animation. I mean, come on. Come on. How cool was that? A random video that I found on YouTube of a dancing Santa. I took it out, saved it to my files, brought it straight into Pre-Pro. Pre-Pro processes it, removes the background. I just drag and drop it onto a performer, and there it is. Just like that. We now have video within our custom performance file. We've taken it from a fellow creative team member, Parker in this case, a fellow co-creator of Pre-Pro. We've taken that, we've duplicated it so we can continue to mess around with it without working and messing up his masterpiece. And we've taken it to the next level. Now, can you imagine if this was real dancing, tap dancing, partnering, things like that, real steps that we needed and not just a fun exercise for the sake of showing you how a feature works, but you can get really, really powerful, intricate work done using Pre-Pro. I'm going to go ahead and rewind, and you'll see that all of our performers will rewind. Now, when you rewind, it's not going to play back the video and rewind or things like that. It's just going to make sure that we get all of those animations right before it starts again. Now, when I go to play back, it will replace it with the videos and images again. How cool is that set piece rotating also, that scenic asset that Keith created? So cool. And I'm going to play it again, and I'm going to zoom in more, because what's really even more cool, if we haven't already reached the cool limit with Pre-Pro, is you can move around in 3D while this is playing back. So you're not stuck at the view that you've set before you start playing. So I'm going to play this again, but I'm going to continue to pinch and zoom and move around the model, get up close so you can see the images up close, the video up close while we play it. So I'm going to be quiet. I'm going to play it again, and we're going to move through and around the performance while it plays. Let's do it. How cool was that? How cool was that? moving around while it's happening. I mean, even here, right? Eventually, you will lose part of the video, but you can see you can get really far over while it's playing. Certainly, if these were 3D mannequins like they are now, you could imagine moving around to the back, behind them, putting yourself in the performer perspective, putting yourself maybe somewhere over here in a wing so that if you want to see true stage depths of lines, particular formations, how easy that could be. So cool. So cool. And as I rewind this, you'll see here, it's rewinding in real time. And all of these videos are there to be played back. And now if I wanted to replace this, I just have to drag and drop a new video onto the performer and it'll replace it. If you want, you can double tap on these videos and you can even rotate them if they're in the wrong orientation, or you can flip them. So if you have 4 lines of dancers, or even 3 lines, let's say, and you want the middle line to do the same choreography but in opposition from lines 1 and 2, you just have to flip the video. You don't have to record 2 videos. Record your choreography in one direction and then apply it to all the videos, and then just flip the ones that you want to do in the opposing direction. It's as easy as that. I can't believe it. That is as easy as it gets. Here you'll see we can mute this. You can trim a video if you'd like once it's in Pre-Pro. You can do anything that you desire. And remember, in order to continue to work with Pre-Pro, which I'm sure you have been working with us, then you've already gotten the free trial. I'm going to go ahead and put that back up on the screen for you now. Since to get a hold of all of these incredible features, you will need, obviously, the 3D view, since you can't view videos and photos in 2D. So you're going to want to unlock the 3D camera, and you can do that with the free trial. Here in the settings icon, I'm going to close that out. Here is our settings icon. We're going to go into our in-app purchase, and you can start this free 14-day trial right there. It's an incredible value. We've got a launch sale happening right now in through the holidays. You can get a reduced price on our yearly subscription. We believe that you will find that this more than pays for itself in one project, given the cost of studio time and things these days. It's an invaluable tool. And yes, like I said, once you start that 3 trial, it'll unlock the 3D camera as well as unlimited performers, unlimited assets, and the like. The free version is going to keep you limited to 2 performers and 2 built-in preset assets that are built into Pre-Pro, so no custom assets there. But once you start that free trial, you unlock this 3D view. The world is your oyster in terms of the things you can create, whether it's theater, dance, film, 3-camera TV setups, events, weddings, anything like that. I know a lot of us have clients and stakeholders who aren't well versed in creative imagination necessarily, or they're not used to be able to imagine what musical staging, setups, big smashing events will look like. And this is going to help all of us to be able to show them in a more high fidelity, easy to manage way without having to spend hours of time building things. Rendering of high definition videos with lighting takes a long time and a lot of compute power. And this allows you to manipulate everything in real time in the palm of your hands. I'm going to play it one more time before we part ways today, since I think it is awesome what Parker created and the videos and photos we have added. And just like that, in the palm of our hands, a full 3D world. Pretty incredible. We cannot wait to see what you all create with Pre-Pro. If you go ahead and create anything, as always, find us on social at Pre-Pro App. Don't forget to tag us. We'd love to see the projects you are working on. You can also check us out online at pre-pro.io. Make sure you give us a subscribe and a follow here on YouTube, as well as our other social channels, and keep posted to our social there. Once you've followed us, we will keep you updated on future live streams. We generally keep those to Monday mornings and or afternoons, but we always let the community know if there's going to be a time change or a date change on those. We want to thank you so much for continuing to explore Pre-Pro, to support Pre-Pro, and we hope that you have an incredible holiday, you all. Next time.